have the car now for 1 week and 1 day, trying to get our 500-mile break-in period in there. We are at 489 miles. So we're going to go ahead and run this thing on the dyno today with 489 miles on it, to see what horsepower we got, and then we're going to roll it on the dyno until we hit 500 miles, and we'll run it again to see if there's a difference for the break-in tune versus after the 500-mile mark. So let's see what we got. Alrighty. Okay, first run, 434 horsepower, 408 foot-pounds of torque. Now this is before the 500-mile mark. That was 497, 98, somewhere in that range. I believe that is actually a pretty good number before or after. So we're going to run it the second time. We're going to try to get it up to the 500-mile mark. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and roll this thing on the dyno until we get our 500-mile mark. We're going to use our helper, Devin. So Devin, go ahead and fire this baby up. Okay, so we did our 3 runs, 1 before the 500-mile mark and 2 after the 500-mile mark, and I'll show you the results. Here's our first one, 434 horsepower before 500 miles. We hit our 500-mile mark, and then here's our second run, 433 horsepower, pretty much the identical horsepower and torque. And we did a third one just for a backup, back to 434. So I would say it's pretty consistent before and after the 500-mile mark, at least on our car. Same power, 434 horsepower. Okay guys, I'm going to give you 2 tips when y'all take your C8 to go put it on a dyno, at least for the problems we have, it might help you out. Number 1, every time we put manual mode and try to shift it on a dyno, it would reach 19 miles an hour and downshift back to first gear. Not cool. So we learned from another buddy that if you run it for about 15 to 20 seconds in regular drive mode first, then put it in manual mode, it will let you go through all the gears. That's tip number one. Tip number two is you always got to hit RPM signal from the motor to the dyno. Well, if you come look on these motors, the exhausts go high, so it's very hard to get to an ignition coil. Without burning yourself anyways, it's kind of difficult to reach one of the coils from up here. So what we found was much easier is underneath the car there's a hole right there. You can see we ran the wire up through. Then as you're back here strapping the car down anyways, you can actually see one of the coils up in there. Let me get to it a little bit better. Okay, so I know it's a little hard to see, but you can see the blue spark plug wire, and that's where we have our ignition tact signal coming from. You can pretty much just reach up there with your arm and get it right around there.